Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So, I got a super fun and exciting episode for you guys today, and one that I was very happy to hear the news on. And it is funny, anytime a classic arcade game that you know I love is getting ported home, I get absolutely blown up with Discord messages, with tweets, and with comments on previous videos I've talked about. And if you know me and you know the channel, you know I absolutely love the Rave Racer franchise. I did an entire retrospective and there is a playlist on the channel, but I always say Rave Race is the absolute pinnacle of this series in arcades. Because even though everyone thinks of Ridge Racer as something like an actual arcade franchise, the reality is about 80 to 90% of the games were home console exclusives or portable exclusives, and to date you are not able to actually play this game at home unless you use MAME emulation like I'm doing here. But as of the 26th of February, we are going to be getting a port of Rave Racer to the Switch 2, and I am absolutely 100% stoked for something like that. I love when classic arcade games get ported home, so we're going to be talking about Rave Racer today and getting you hyped up for the 26th, because you know full well I will be running a review of the new port the minute it comes out and I can get a chance to capture some footage. Before you get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell. Definitely helps us out, and if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. Now if you watch the channel consistently, you will hear me say often that Sega is the best developer when it comes to arcade racing games, and even though I still agree with that statement that I always make, and I think that their catalog of games shows that they are the best, Rave Racer gets 99.998%, as close to Sega's best as any other arcade racing game out there, and I absolutely love this game. In my opinion, it is perfection from start to finish. The sensation of speed, the drifting, everything else. Honestly, Ridge Racer and Ridge Racer 2, which is really more of an expansion pack to the original in arcades, are fun games and I absolutely love them, but Rave Racer delivers on the promise of what Ridge Racer was trying to be, because obviously Namco still had to get their heads wrapped around developing in full 3D, and honestly Rave Racer shows that they figured it out and were able to make an absolutely perfect arcade racing game. And the number one thing about Rave Racer is just the absolute sensation of speed. The camera swaying here, everything moving along the corners of the track, the air that you're getting, this thing just screams arcade with a capital A and a capital letter following that as well. I just love this game. It has always been something fun, and I'm playing it here today as a new capture for this video with my wheel and pedal set up on my new desk at the new studio, so expect a game room tour shortly. And honestly, just playing around with this, I ended up capturing way more footage than I needed to talk about the fact that Rave Racer is getting a home port at the end of the month, just because I sat down and again instantaneously started having fun with it and just basically realized that I had been playing the game for an hour when I didn't need to. Namco absolutely just nailed the brief when it comes to intense, fast-paced action and arcade racing, and when you put together that with the soundtrack, absolutely just a straight up 10 out of 10. And that really is the thing. Unfortunately, Ridge Racer as a franchise has been dormant for a long time now, and while I'm not saying these releases are going to convince Namco to make a new entry in this series, it doesn't hurt if this thing sells like absolute fire, and I really hope it does, because honestly, we don't get very many true arcade racers anymore from mainline developers. Yeah, we see a decent amount of stuff on the indie side of things, and I absolutely love that, but I want to see Ridge Racer come back. I want to see Sega make more arcade racing games, and I want these things to get ported home. And as I said in previous videos, Rave Racer was always that arcade exclusive, and honestly now trying to find a cabinet for it is quite difficult. I can't wait to put this on my Switch 2, go over to my 65-inch LG OLED C4 and just play the ever-loving hell out of Ridge Racer. Now there really isn't a wheel for Switch 2, at least not one that I'm aware of. Leave me a comment if you know of one, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't exist, but we're going to just have to use analog controllers as the next best thing. But when it comes to a Rave Race home port, I will take what I am given, and it's one of those things. I am so excited to introduce new people to this game. All three of my nephews have Switch 2s, and I'm going to be buying them a download code so each and every one of them can understand what old school perfection arcade racing truly is, because it is really that good. Let's move into the first soundtrack sample, because the music in this game makes it as much as the graphics and the gameplay, but come back because I'll talk a lot more about Rave Racer and why this is a milestone to arcade to home console ports. But enjoy because it is good.
Get on it!
Absolutely amazing music, but let's talk about Dirt Dash for a moment. This is basically the Sega Rally to Ridge Racer as something like Sega would have made it, and this is another game that's absolutely a hidden gem that is very difficult to find an arcade cabinet for. And while you can play it in MAME, the controls definitely get a little bit weird on it, so I would love to see this come home to Switch 2 or any other modern console as well, because Namco has a ton of amazing games that just never saw home ports, and I am so glad that these things keep coming out, because these, again, are just absolute love letters to what arcade gaming was in the 90s. And the reality is, I talk a lot, at least recently, about what qualifies as a retro game. Now, of course, Rave Racer is going to be retro as far as when it came out is concerned, but as far as the gameplay, the drifting, the courses, and everything else, and this plays every bit as good as any sort of arcade racing game that could have come out in the last year to two. If you basically just remade this game and gave it completely modern graphics, people would absolutely enjoy the hell out of it. There might be a complaint or two about the game not having that many courses, but again, this is an arcade game, not a home console game. So you sat down, you played it for like 10 minutes, paid like $5 to $10 to do so, and then you moved on with your day. And even though I know it's not going to happen, I would love to see somebody like Namco maybe even license these out to qualified developers to make remasters of them and put more courses in. Take Rave Racer, take Ridge Racer, take a few of those games, remake all of the courses in modern graphics, keep the same physics and handling engine, and just throw some new content in there, and I will pay full retail any day of the week and twice on Sunday, because honestly, we need more games like this. I know we still get arcade racing games, we get the Forza Horizon franchise, and those are a ton of fun, but honestly, I want that old school Ridge Racer vibe in a modern environment. When I talk about my nephews and sending them codes for this, they all play Forza and Forza Horizon and ever-loving love the shit out of those things. So there's something like Rave Racer here, I think they're really going to gravitate towards. Now, of course, Horizon is an open-world format versus this, but I still see a lot of younger people getting into racing games because honestly, it is such an easy genre just to jump into, learn, and then play for tons of hours. And it really makes me think what else could possibly come to home consoles that still hasn't left the arcades, whether it's modern or whether it's retro. Stuff like the House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn, probably the most requested port to home console or at least PC that I get on the channel, because the arcade lineage of all of these games just shows us that there's still so many games locked to the arcades. Now, of course, we have MAME emulation. If you want to play this game today, you can 100% do so. That is how I am doing it. But getting a home port of Rave Racer is just something that is absolutely going to be a fun time. Leave me a comment down below and you tell me if you could snap your fingers and make one game go from the arcades to home as a port, which one would it be? And today, just because I was talking about it with somebody recently and helping them kind of diagnose a board and talk about region settings, I would love to see Dragon Gun get ported to maybe Switch 2 so you could use the pointer on the actual gyro controls to play that one. And if that doesn't sound familiar, trust me, it is a deep cut. Well, let's go into soundtrack sample 2 time right now, because again, the music makes this game, and I'll be right back with just a little bit more Rave Racer. I mean, I just absolutely love all of the music in the Ridge Racer franchise, but Rave Racer has some of the best in my opinion. Now here's what I want you to do, and again, I'm sure you realize this, I make no money off of it. I want everyone to go out and buy a copy of this when it releases on the 26th of February. If you like arcade games, if you like racing games, and you want to signal to the developers that you want more stuff like this and it is profitable, then go out there and vote with your wallets, because if these things sell well and they keep making money off them, you know full well we're going to continue to get games like this coming home. And that would absolutely be amazing, because as much fun as MAME emulation is, sometimes you just want to sit down on your couch, look at your TV, and load up a game very easily on a home console, or even do something like go out into the world with something like your Switch 2 or a Steam Deck and be able to play these games. It's just one of those things. I love ports like this. Rave Racer is still one of the best arcade racing games ever made, definite top 10 in my opinion, and the fact is in about 2 weeks we're going to see a home port of this for the first time ever. Although there was a PC port announced back in the day, they got cancelled, so it almost happened about 3 decades ago. But we're done. Definitely pick this one up. Rave Racer is amazing, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.